In this week's episode of Sword Art Online 2, Kirito is haunted by his murderous memories of being trapped in SAO, and Sinon prepares for her epic rematch with the main man himself. But first, a quick word from our sponsors.
You get it. Your ass is a major part of your life, and it deserves the same level of respect as the rest of you. And after a long day of mud wrestling and grandma's chocolate pudding, you want to feel fresh, and you can with One Wipe Charlie's. I'd also highly recommend checking out their high-quality razor blades, which can also be shipped directly to you. You can find a link for them in our description box below at dollarshaveclub.com/SKG. And make sure to check out the One Wipe Charlie's. With their peppermint scent, they'll make your ass smell like Christmas morning.
The second season of Sword Art Online is a completely different beast than the first season. The first season was all about flash and action and a love story and where characters could die at any possible moment. The second season is like a character study on post-traumatic stress disorder, and you have that in both Sinon and Kirito. And at first I thought that was just going to be Sinon's story, but this episode just encapsulated how freaked out and confused Kirito feels about the people he killed when he was in SAO. And this is obviously information that we never had in the first season, and it completely changes his character, and he completely breaks down in this week's episode in a great scene. And it really surprised me because it wasn't too cheesy, it was handled really well, and even though this episode had like no action or anything, I still liked it. One thing that I didn't really like about the episode though was that it actually opened up with Kirito's cousin Sugaha. And she's a very controversial character, and frankly, every single time she's on screen alone with Kirito, I feel a little uncomfortable. Especially that one scene when she got real close to him, just, it's creepy. The creepiness level gets notched up a little bit more in the episode when we get a scene with Sinon and she's hanging out with her good friend Shinkawa, who I'm starting to think might actually not be a good guy. And it only seems like he is definitely going out of his way to fuck with Sinon's mind. And there's a scene this week where he starts to sort of try to confess his love for her in a way, but it comes across as just very awkward and very strange, especially when he decides to just embrace her and she just pushes him away. And she's not in the state of mind right now because she's sort of obsessed with getting revenge against Kirito, and even when she goes back into Gun Gale Online at the very end of the episode, Shinkawa is there, except now he's in his like Spiegel avatar, and he's still being really creepy and just antisocial, and he doesn't know what he's doing, but this time it really makes it seem like he's trying to fuck her up as she's getting ready to go into this competition so that he can mess with her game, especially when she starts to walk away. He just looks so ominous standing there in the dark, and I feel that he probably has some sort of connection to Death Gun, but that's only because it is sort of spoilerish in the intro of the show. Otherwise, that's pretty much the end of the episode. Sinon running into Kirito at the end. They're getting ready to throw down. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Sword Art Online 2? This is an episode that's going to be divisive amongst a lot of people, because I know we want to see some action. This is Gun Gale Online, and it looks like it's going to be awesome, and we've only had so many action scenes. But I actually really am enjoying the story of Sword Art Online 2 a lot more than the first half. Whereas I loved the action a little bit more in the first season, so it's sort of a give and take. There were some things that I did skim across. There was a scene where they go back to ALO, and you get to see a lot of the old classic characters fighting against a massive salamander. You get to see that Asuna is in sort of a weird funk because, of course, she's wondering what the hell's going on with Kirito right now, but she also doesn't want to worry all the other members. And it really got me thinking, too, like, because we still don't really know the method of how Death Gun is killing people. Why is it just Gun Gale Online? Like, could he technically go into other games and actually start killing people, like in ALO? Like, that makes me realize maybe they could actually go back to that, because I don't know if it's going to be like the first season, where the first half is going to be like a different game, and then the next half they go to something entirely different than that. I'd like to see that, if only to mix things up, but, you know, we've barely been in GGO at all, and I loved that transition they did when they were in ALO at the time, and then the next shot was in Gun Gale Online, and it was so drastically different, and it looked so great. The artwork on that scene looked really nice. The scene with Kirito this week and the nurse was handled very well, and could have gone into some really annoying anime raunchy territory, but it actually managed to be very sincere in a very nice scene, and it really paints Kirito in an entirely different light. And I really appreciated that, because before he was just sort of just the very simple, like, protagonist character, but this definitely adds, like, a new layer of depth to him, and I really appreciate that. Sinone this week was also really good. You know, the whole thing with her and Shinkawa is still kind of strange. I'm not really sure how to read it, because I still think there's something really strange about that guy. And like I said, it does sort of give away a little bit in the intro, like how he might have some sort of a connection to Death Gun. Like he might actually be him himself. That's kind of hard to say, though, because I don't remember if that one scene with Kirito met Death Gun for the first time, if they were both in that room at the same time, but I'm pretty sure they were. So, I don't know, it's really confusing, but I like that because it's got me really excited for the next episode and trying to find all of the different clues. And hopefully, in next week's episode, we'll get a lot more action. I think they need to give it to us because it ended with them in GGO this week, so next week just needs to go crazy with that. And I don't know what's going to happen because this series never does previews, and I kind of like that because it just builds the anticipation. But even though there wasn't any, like, real action this week or anything, and typically I'm an action guy, I still really enjoyed this episode for all of the characterization, and everything was just handled well. The animation and the artwork was pretty good throughout the episode, nothing too bombastic or crazy, but everything looked nice and clean, the music cues were good, and it was just a good episode of the series, but nothing too nutty. Otherwise, I really liked it, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 this week. You should definitely check it out, especially for all of the Kirito scenes. Those were handled really well. And also, is it just me, or were they trying to connect the scenes where the little girl lost her balloon at the beginning of the episode with Sinone, and then when they cut to the Kirito scene, when he was breaking down, you saw it outside the window? Just me saying. Was that the same balloon? I don't know. Maybe there's symbolism in there somewhere and I'm just not seeing it. Whatever. Good episode. Check out the series. 8 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching my review today. Before you leave, make sure to hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. And please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Sword Art Online 2. What do you think is going to happen in the next battle between Sinone and Kirito? And who do you think Death Gun is? Do you think it actually is Shinkawa, Sinone's friend? Tell me with all your comments below. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. We're reviewing everything from Naruto Shippuden to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders. And remember guys, you can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links for all of that stuff in the description box below.
Do you like Amazon.com? I know I do. Corey and I now have an Amazon link in our video description box below. And if you go to it and buy anything through Amazon.com, it will support our channel. So bookmark that link, make it happen, and support our channel without having to do a damn thing.
Another great way you guys can help support our channel is by donating directly through our PayPal link in the description box below. We recommend $2 a month, although this is completely optional. But the best way to go about this is by sneaking into your mom's room and taking $2. This way, she won't even notice. And we won't have to shake you up for all of your lunch money. So guys, that concludes this review today. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.